Hello, this is Act with Miha. What is happening? What is happening? What is happening in the world? I'm not even Italian and I'm using hand gestures and I'm trying to make my accent even stronger than the one that I have. What is happening with all of the different opinions in Lyndsay Clancy's trial? Oh my goodness. And why am I so red? I'm not red. I'm not Reddington. I'm red. Sir, Kevin Reddington, what happened to you today and yesterday? So, after the prosecution rested, during that entire time, you were brilliant as a lawyer. And starting yesterday, after the prosecution rested, I believe that's the law term, all of a sudden, you're bringing all these TikToker, TikToker, can you say Tucker? Not Tucker, not Tucker Carlson, TikTok star. The last defense that you brought presenting your case was a therapist, TikTok star who had so much to say about the symptoms and medical journey of Lyndsay Clancy. What? Are you telling me she doesn't know anything about it? Are you telling me she wasn't treating her? Are you telling me she's just been watching the trial and you invited her to be your witness? What happened to the strategy? I thought you were going to start to bring the doctors, the capable doctors from the hospital who treated Lyndsay Clancy of her psychosis. But you bring a TikTok star who has nothing to do with the case, but she happened to have worked in the same hospital where Lyndsay Clancy was working, where Lyndsay Clancy was in, not even at the time that she was there. Can I come and testify? I want to testify as an acting teacher, and I want to tell you why your client, Lyndsay Clancy, was not crying sincerely a few days ago, even though the cry was coming from her gut. Everybody was commenting to some of my small videos that I put out there. Everybody was telling me that I'm an imbecile. Everybody was telling me that I am a crazy lady. I'm the crazy lady. I'm the imbecile, a mere acting teacher. But she has psychosis. Can I come testify about her crying? Can I come testify in trial about her behavior in court? And can I come tell the jurors why, in my opinion, she's not believable to me? To me, people. Incredible. Should I call the prosecutors? Maybe I should call them. Can anybody put me in touch with the prosecution so maybe I can go and be a witness the same way that Mr. Kevin Reddington brought the TikTok star to talk about her experience in the hospital as a social worker who wasn't even there the time that Lyndsay Clancy was there? Can I come and do that as an acting coach, as an acting teacher? Why not? Oh, I can't. And what was the doctor that you brought? I forget his name. I don't know names. I don't know how to use technology. I don't know how to speak English correctly, but I do know acting. So for those of you who keep calling me names, personally attacking me. Can you please stop? Because you know what that tells me about your character as an acting teacher? You know what that behavior tells me? That those people who happen to have a different opinion than my own are so unkind when somebody doesn't agree with them. Why can't we have different opinions about what we're seeing? Why can we not? Why do you get so personally abusive with me and others who might be in the minority? Because yes, you are the majority. You are the majority who are fans of Lyndsay Clancy and who are seeing everything she does in court and who are listening to the defense's case and believe everything. No matter what they come up with, you will believe it. I cannot do that because I have worked as an acting teacher for a long time. And acting is about interpreting and analyzing behavior, of course, at a level of acting. So when she cries, no matter how much her crying is from her gut, it's not believable to me because I look for specific details to how she is doing it. And it would be fake even for the stage or for the film. First of all, when an actor or an actress or an actor, considering both male and female, when they cry on stage and they push for those emotions to come out, it is considered fake even for the stage. You don't push for emotions. As a person, as a human being, great actors, when they cry, they don't push to cry. They push to try to stop their crying. And whatever comes on top of them trying to stop that crying is what will read sincere. Watch in everyday life how many people push to cry, push for the emotions, agitate their body, physically tense themselves up, get ready so the crying comes out. That's a no-no in acting. And we learn it in acting because we watch a lot of people in life, how human people behave. And we try to portray characters in fictional stories the closest that we can to the truthful human behavior that happens in the world. So don't send me comments about, are you an imbecile? Are you crazy? That crying was real because it was guttural, gutural. We say in Romanian, gutural, from the gut. Why am I turning into an Italian gesturing person? That was one point that I wanted to make. Another point that I wanted to make, I'm still waiting. I am still waiting from the defense to bring some doctors who can tell us details about the treatment that Lyndsay Clancy had after she committed the most unimaginable, terrifying, horrific acts on those three beautiful children who are the real victims: CORA, DAWSON, CALLAN. I'm still waiting for someone, for a witness, a specific witness who has worked with Lyndsay Clancy after. Is she on medications? Is she having psychosis episodes in trial right now? Is that what that crying was? Was it about Was that one of her episodes? Is that what was happening? Or is she on medication during the whole trial that she's in court? I don't know. All the unanswered questions. And then today I'm waiting for those witnesses to come and give us answers to the questions that I have, and so many who are not believing her psychosis have. And they bring a doctor who's more of a friend, who really cares for Lyndsay Clancy, and doesn't talk about it. They go back. The defense attorney is asking him questions about what we already know from the prosecution. They go back to the whole story of how she was ill treated and she wasn't diagnosed by the incompetent doctors. All of the doctors were incompetent, all of them, that she was going to, when she's the common denominator in this situation. And then we have yesterday, who did we have? We had Dr. La Posata. I hope am I screaming in the microphone? I hope I'm not like making you not hear anymore. Then we had Dr. La Posata yesterday, and she was on a Zoom call, and she was laughing nervously a couple of times because when the prosecution went to redirect, I believe it's called, went to cross-examine her, she was coming up with all this fabricated little stories. She usually does. She did it in the Karen Reed case. And when the prosecution was brave enough for the first time, the prosecution, for the first time, they're doing a much better, they're doing a much better, how do you say it in English? Sunt mult mai bune, doamnele procurore. They're so much better now that it's the defense's case than they were before. I feel that they're kind of getting into it. They're fighting so much more to be able to be the voices of those three beautiful angels. So when she was questioning La Posata, who was saying fictional things like Lyndsay Clancy, after she was in a psychosis, so she was not in reality, she had no idea what she did, she was not recognizing what she did because she heard a male voice, and the male voice, oh, she made sure that it was a male voice that she told the doctor, this doctor who's more of a friend who testified today than her doctor. She told them she heard a male voice, and she was specific about not any voice. It wasn't any voice, because if you were a woman's voice, then we could think that it was her inner voice. So she would be legally charged, criminally guilty. But no, she made sure that she let us know it is a male voice who was telling her to take those kids and take them to God. But then La Posata, Dr. La Posata, Reposata with an R, not an L, in Romanian means gone. She's a little gone, I think. She was, what was she saying? She was saying that she can know definitely that Lyndsay Clancy from the bedroom jumped from the window head first. But she had no bruising on her face. There was no blood on her scalp. But La Posada would not have it when the prosecution was making those points. No, she could have had some lesions under the hair. Maybe she hurt her hair. Maybe that's something that she never, why didn't she say that? She hurt her hair. That's why there was no bruising on the top of her head or anywhere on her face. That's what it was. Her hair was hurt. The same way that the dogs bit John O'Keefe in Karen Reed's trial. What is going on? What is happening in the world? What is happening? And when the prosecution came back to her, when the question, I think it was the last question that the prosecutor had for La Posada, and they were talking about the way that she committed the tragic act with those elastic bands, having two of those poor angels face down, and one of them, I believe it was Dawson, that was facing up in the way that they found them. I can't even imagine. I can't even think about it. When the prosecution, you could see that her fire started to ignite because she was not going to have La Posada keep on fabricating to match the defense's story and her story. And when she went and she put those gloves on, I said, now you're doing it, prosecutors. Now you got fight in you, because I was complaining before that they're too monotone. They're too one note. They don't know how to get into the fight the same way that the defense attorney knew how to before. Now that it's his case presentation, he's kind of backing down because he's lost confidence. Of course, he's losing confidence if the witnesses that you have are La Posada, the doctor best friend of Lyndsay who loves her, and this star on TikTok who's a social worker and wants to be on television. I want to get subscribers. I want to get viewers. Can I be on TV? Can I be a witness? What is going on? Details matter. Specificity in acting is what becomes universally understood. I don't even know how many times I think I've said that, or maybe I haven't said it. Specificity, we're individual creatures on this earth. So when you see a behavior of someone, don't go to the generality of it and say, I cried like that. I know what it's like to cry from the gut. It's not just you know how to cry. Pay attention to the specific body tensing, movement of the shoulders to get herself ready to push the emotion out, to play to the jurors, to play to the supporters, to us, the viewers. She knows she's got so many supporters. She's playing to us all. In acting, if actors play to the camera, if they push emotions for the camera, the director calls cut. Go try it again. We'll do another take because it's not believable. It's not credible. So don't tell me all the small words that you can come up with to call me personally, because I'm speaking from an acting perspective. And that is what I do. So La Posada says she jumped because she wanted to alive herself. She couldn't believe that she did what she did, because she had no understanding what she did, because this male voice came into her head for the duration of the crimes, and then the voice disappeared and it was never there ever again. It was one time. So everybody's like, "Oh, bravo, our D-list actress Lyndsay Clancy, we believe you, male voice during one episode." Yes, of course. Don't be that audience who gets spoon-fed, but ask for more. Smart audiences want truth from people on stage played by actors. Because if they don't get those details, if they're just applauding every general behavior of any actor playing a role, they remain at the same level in their thinking. They demand more. They don't like to be spoon fed. They want to be thinking when they leave the show or after they see a film. They don't want to be spoon fed with generalities and believe those generalities. Like those of you believing Lyndsay Clancy, expect more. Expect more of the defense's case. That means that you expect more of yourself. Whew, I'm getting fiery. The prosecutors got me fiery today. I have to remember their names. I have to look up their names because I just don't remember their names. So I feel that La Posata, when the prosecution went for it, that was the best moment of the prosecution so far in the trial, when she went for it, got those blue gloves, put her hand in the evidence bag, and took out those weapons that she, Lyndsay Clancy, used. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the effort that it took? Can you even imagine what those three beautiful babies must have gone through? And she did this. The prosecution got him out and said, are you saying, Dr. La Posata, that after the bands were around their necks, when they were taken off, they don't lose shape, they stay in the circle? And she said, no, La Posata said, no, they don't, because that was her point that she was making before, trying to lie, because she was so sure that the prosecutor was not going to get fiery. She was so sure that she's smarter than them because she gets away with so much, like we've seen in the Karen Reed trial. Even that, the prosecutor, Hank Brennan, he was so good. He was so great. And for those jurors to not get the details in that case, I am in shock of what is happening. I do not know what is happening with people. I don't get it. But then it kind of made sense once those jurors from the Karen Reed trial came out and some of them were giving interviews, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand. You understand behavior in a general way. Okay, you're one of those members of the audience, because to me, jurors are like an audience. They're like members of the audience. You're like that audience who doesn't expect more of the fictional story or in a trial of the real story, of the real case. That, okay, I get it. Just from the way they were kind of explaining how they came to the verdict that they came to. So I was like, okay, get it. You just happen to be one of those audiences who don't expect anymore. So then La Posada was like, yeah, if you do it like that, then yeah, you're right. It's gonna change shape. And then the prosecution sat. Ay, ay, ay. Mamma mia. Oh, another thing that I wanted to ask. Do you think that Lyndsay Clancy, during the time she had her so-called psychosis episode, the one time, do you think she cried? Do you think she moved her shoulders around, trying to do what she was about to do, or she was calm? She didn't know, right? She had no idea. It was a male voice that was guiding her, but it was just guiding her for that moment. It was just guiding her for that moment. Afterwards, she realized what she did, so she wanted to unalive herself. So did she know at that time what she did? Was she understanding that she was in reality at that point? And if she was, then after she was found, after she slid like a little snake down the window where the bloodstains were, not head first, she slid down. Did she know what she had done? Was she in reality then? Because if she was, when the husband came, Patrick, and asked, what's happening? What's going on? After he went in the house and the house was unusually quiet. Saw her on the ground. What happened? What happened? I'm so glad I didn't even hear the phone call that he made to 911, because people in the courtroom are saying that they will forever be traumatized from it. When he asked her, what happened? What happened? What did she say? I tried to unalive myself. My legs. My legs. Why? Why did she ask that? If she knew that the fall happened, she must have known what she did. Why didn't she say, don't worry about me? I've done something horrible. I don't know what happened. Go, see. Or I just came up with something else. It just occurred to me again, because I'm always making connection between behavior when I watch someone like her in this trial, and then something from what I've seen with one of the actors in a particular moment in a play. And I'm just thinking, if she knew what she had done when she went to her bedroom, so by that time she knew what she had done, because she doesn't say that the male voice was commanding her to jump. The male voice was just around for the time that she committed those crimes. So if she knew when she got to the bedroom and she tried to superficially slice her wrist or neck or whatever, if she realized then, why didn't she turn around instead of thinking about, let me unalive myself? What have I done in the way that the defense is trying to make us believe? Why didn't she turn around from the bedroom? Why didn't she run down to the basement to try to save them, to see if they're still okay? Because everybody's saying, those people who believe her, they're saying when after she committed the crime, she went up because she couldn't take it. She couldn't take the horrific crime she committed, because she's the great mother. She's the perfect mother who wanted to get back in shape into her silhouette body right after she gave birth to the baby, CALLAN. If she realized when she got to the bedroom, instead of superficially pretending to cut herself, why didn't she turn around to go back in the basement? Why did she not go back in the basement and try to save them? Resuscitate them, call the ambulance. Why didn't she do that? Questions. You should have questions. You should deserve to know more. You should, and you are worthy to ask the questions. You should not be allowing anyone to spoon feed you. You stay the same. Don't you want to learn? Aren't you curious to find out specific details? You just take what she heard and what she says as the truth because she says it? Am I? I seem like a crazy person. I scream in my sleep. I wake myself up, not recognizing my voice. Why is she being so nicely held by everyone as if she was the victim and not those kids? What is happening? See, my hair got all messed up. Someone even made a personal attack to my about my hair. At least I'm not saying that I hurt my hair or I have bruising under my hair. Somebody even made a comment about my hair. That's how angry those people are with what I'm posting. And when I speak my opinions as an acting teacher, one of them said that my hair looks like I've never had a hard day in my life, something like that. One commentator commented that I look like I don't understand what mental illness is because of my hair. I don't look like I've been through anything in my life. I mean, where do you come up with all these imaginative comments, I must say, but the same way that you apply your imagination to insulting others, to insulting me, why don't you apply that open mindedness when it comes to Lyndsay Clancy? It's unbelievable to me. It is unbelievable to me. I wrote down some points that I wanted to make, and I think I lost them. Politeness, another thing. Politeness. Statement about the children. We'll skip the politeness because I'll talk about that. It's not one of the main points that I wanted to make. So when the doctor was testifying today, I forget his name, it starts with a Z, and he was being asked by the prosecution about Lyndsay Clancy's stay in the hospital after the crimes. He was saying that she's been playing games with other patients. She's been socializing. Even on the birthdays of the kids, she seemed to be okay. She seemed to be okay. When did this happen? 3 years ago? 3 years ago, I think. If she's okay, she's okay. She seems to be having a good time in the hospital. What was the question? It just occurred to me. I just remember, what was the question that she asked Patrick when she was found down on the ground? I said she was asking about her legs. And then what was the question? The first question that she asked the doctor today, her friend, her dear friend who loves her, and so many other people in the hospital love her. Everybody loves Lyndsay Clancy. My God, what do I have to do to be loved like that? What do I have to do? I don't have so many people love me. What do I got to do these days to be loved with so much passion? What did the doctor tell us today? One of the defense's witnesses, what did he tell us? The first thing that she wanted to do in the hospital was she wanted to call her husband. She had the phone memorized, she knew it. And the question that she asked Patrick was she wanted to know how the relationship between the two of them is. Are we going to be okay? Are we going to be okay? Will you still love me after what I did? Will you? Sorry. Not even sorry. We say sorry for every stupid thing that we do in everyday life because we're so conditioned to, oh, I'm sorry. I go down the elevator. I apologize as if there's something wrong that I did. Oh, sorry, sorry for this, sorry for that on the street. But we don't say sorry for this horrific tragedy that she committed. And then some people say, oh, did you see her mother-in-law and her mother when they testified? Yes, I saw them. Everybody looks at these people as if they were the victims. And oh, isn't it wonderful? They play these clips online with romantic, loving family music in the background. Look how the mother-in-law walked past her and made a sign towards Lyndsay to say, we love you no matter what. We love you. We love you. And the mother, the same. Because they're grandparents who lost their grandchildren. Yes, they are. They did not lose their grandchildren to natural causes. Their daughter and their daughter-in-law decided to end their lives. Oh, everybody's so emotionally involved when it comes to her and the family members because they're all on her side. I wouldn't want anybody to be on my side if I did anything near to what she did. I wouldn't want anybody to be on my side. Why would I want that? That means that something's really wrong with everybody. But she loves it because she's continuing to manipulate everybody. She's manipulating the courtroom. She's manipulating the viewers, some of the viewers, because that's what she did before she committed the act, during it, and she continues to do it now. My hair. Let me do my hair. Because she didn't seem very cry-like today. Because she's realizing her case, the case of her and the defense, is not going well. Why wasn't she crying sincerely today? Everybody says, well, of course she was crying because they were showing the pictures of the autopsies of the children. How dare they? It's always how dare they show those pictures, not how dare she did what she did. And she cried then because that was really hard on her. I just showed you the crying. I can't do this. Did she say I can't do this during the time she did it? Crying sincerely happens at different times. Crying sincerely by anyone, people in real life, actors in fictional stories, happens sincerely. It's triggered at different times by different events. Do you not sometimes watch a happy commercial and you start crying? Why would you cry if you're watching a happy commercial? Because it's triggering some memory inside of you that you're now nostalgic for. So it's triggering you to think about your mortality, about time passing by. That happy commercial brings you to a memory of something from your past that you are nostalgic about. Sincere crying is triggered surprisingly to the people crying. They don't control it to know and program it to make it happen during the time of the prosecution, presenting the most details about the horrific time and about the horrific tragic acts that she committed. That's when she cries, pushing for the cry, loud. It wasn't open. If you were sincere, her throat wouldn't be, it wouldn't be from the throat. It was from her gut. Yeah, because you are expecting people to spoon feed you. You don't want to think. individually. There's no individuality. Majority of people want to be part of the group. I see on TikTok women throwing themselves or showing us, demonstrating how they throw themselves from the window head down. She must have gone head down. See, it's possible. Don't you have other things to do? Go buy an acting book and learn some human behavior and learn how to understand details. It can help you in your life to detect people so you don't get fooled and brainwashed by fabrications that are not even credible in fictional scenarios. Is my relationship okay with Patrick? Am I going to be okay? Oh, isn't it a little bit strange? Another question that I have. Isn't it a little bit strange that we don't know much about the history of their relationship? We don't know the backstory between Patrick and Lyndsay. Even in acting, we analyze backstory of the characters. What is the relationship? Because they will give you a lot of insight into what is happening right now. But the defense attorney is not going there because I don't think it would be beneficial to their case. I would want to know, what was the relationship like? What was happening between them? We don't know anything about that. Everybody says, who comes on from the defense's side, she was perfect. She was wonderful. She was so loving as a co-worker. She was so loving as a daughter, as a daughter-in-law, as a mother. She loved those children. She just happened to be one rare case of a psychotic episode with a male voice. That's it. She's a lovely, lovely person who trained as soon as she gave birth to the little one, the baby, back in shape. She wanted to keep Patrick interested because she was concerned about the relationship from the hospital. That was her concern. She wasn't concerned about anything else. Was she begging for forgiveness for what she did? She should be begging now for forgiveness. She should have said, guilty, guilty. I don't want to live this life. Put me away. No. Smug. Is there a word, smug? I don't even know. Today she was smug. Medea, the famous ancient Greek play. Medea, fictional character, but all the fictional characters have to be based on some truth. Because how those amazing writers like Euripides, I don't know how to pronounce it in English, I think it's Euripides. Medea, the play written by Euripides from ancient Greece. Actors are having a difficult time playing such a character. The character Medea did the same thing to her children, a role that is so tragic for actors to even get to attempt doing it. Doesn't matter that it's fictional. Actors, knowing that they have to get themselves into that role, are scared of it. That's how horrific it is what Lyndsay did to her kids. Medea, a fictional character. Actors want to play it, but at the same time, they're scared to do it, knowing that it's a fictional character. She did the same thing to her children. You want to know why? Because she wanted to punish the husband for leaving her, for cheating her, or something like that. I haven't read it. I don't know specifically. I should have gotten more information about it because I read it many years ago. But I keep going back to that. The most horrific punishment to put on someone is to take the kids away. She knew that no matter what she would have done to herself, what she would have done to anybody else, would not have made her cheating husband feel as much pain as did Patrick Clancy when he found what Lyndsay Clancy did to their children. That is the worst pain that you can put on any parent. And she did that. So I wonder, what was the relationship like? What was it like? I don't know. But instead of you talking about this crazy conspiracy theory, those of you who are talking about Patrick Clancy being the one who committed the tragic act, which has no evidence to prove, no details, instead of you focusing on him being the guilty one, making her believe she did it, but he actually did it because his timeline doesn't match. Instead of you putting so much work into committing yourselves to that crazy story that you're fabricating, why don't you spend the same amount of time to find out details about what was going on in their lives? It can't be that she was so perfect. It can't be that she was so loving all the time. That gives me red flags in acting. If I'm reading about such a character and I'm like, what's not being written there? Let me go in between the lines and try to figure out. Let's get up on our feet and do the scene and improvise it and see what that could be. Why is this character just portraying himself or herself to be loving, perfect? Everybody loves that character. Something's bubbling underneath, ready to explode. It doesn't mean that an episode of psychosis is there. I'm sure she was dealing with a lot of anxiety. I'm sure she was dealing with a lot of depression. I'm sure she was dealing with postpartum. I'm sure she was dealing with a lot. But to go from that, from what all of us are feeling, to we believe her again. Bravo. Psychosis moment, event. We'll take it. You've done your job. We don't need any more details. We don't need to be informed. Why should we be informed? We're buying what you're selling. You don't need to work so hard. She doesn't even have to work at it. She's like this. She's like this. She has you all wrapped around your little finger. She's not even working hard. I know I'm going to get comments. I see it coming. I see it coming. So again, these are all my acting interpretations as an acting teacher, not an actress. I have not made that as an actress. No, I have not. There was a comment that comes to my mind. There was a comment where somebody says, oh, you believe that was fake crying that Lyndsay did. You must have been a shitty actress. Well, guess what? I was a shitty actress at times. But I also had really great moments as an actress because that's how life works. You cannot be just nice all the time. You cannot be just great all the time. You cannot be just perfect all the time. There is failures. I failed in acting. There you go. I did. But I've learned from it. And I continue to learn from it as an acting teacher. So calling me a shitty actress, I already know that I'm a shitty actress. Sometimes great. Moments of greatness sometimes. But I know that. So it doesn't bother me when you're calling me those names. I'm just saying, don't waste your time being so unkind for no reason. That's why I wrote politeness. Politeness is something that we are so trained to have in our real life all the time. So being a little bit not polite is not a huge thing, for as long as you don't hurt yourself and for as long as you don't hurt others. That's another acting lesson. Politeness is not good all the time, because you're not going to allow yourself to get under what's going on in your cover and facade, to discover more about who you are as a human with flaws and imperfections and failures. That is what opens you up to growing and learning. So being mean and calling people names, you can make somebody upset who doesn't know all of the things that you already are calling me. I've already called myself all those things. So you can't hurt me by doing that. But it's okay. You continue to do it. If it makes you feel better, then go on doing that. I'm just saying, you should not waste your time. You should try to figure out and pay attention to the trial. Pay attention. Details. Specificity is what becomes universally understood. Nobody understands generality. It's too mediocre. Do you want to be mediocre? Don't you want to keep growing and learning? So I spoke about politeness. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to leave it here. And I think the one thing that I am kind of taking from this episode for myself is that a smart audience demands more of the storytellers. And so should we as people in everyday life. We should demand more of what is being fed in every field. It doesn't matter. Law, trials, politicians. We are worthy people. We are deserving of more than being spoon-fed by general interpretations of things in any field. Don't be so quick to applaud. Applause should be deserved. Applause should be merited. Actors, they have got to get into their roles so specifically, with so much commitment. They are responsible for those characters they are playing. And they feel the responsibility to do those characters justice. You should do yourselves justice by demanding more from others. You deserve that. We all do. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have an amazing week. Kisses.